Can I lean up against this thing?
Yeah, actually, I like that. That looks nice.
I do too. Feels good. Background, I grew up in the industry. My father was a race commissioner in Nevada as I grew up in the early years. I've been on the racetrack since the mid-'80s. Obviously, my father had owned racehorses, and that's where my love for the sport pretty much became instilled upon me. It was always my dream to become a trainer, in which I trained for 14 years. It wasn't until it was 2007 when I branched out to work as a racing manager with Southern Equine Stable, which lasted for about 3 or 4 years. At that point, that's when I started going to the yearling sales and doing pin hooking. Prior to that, I bought a nice 2-year-old training actually at OBS in 2007. Behind at the bar, who won the Lexington, qualified as the Kentucky Derby. And that was literally the first 2-year-old in training of any caliber that I had purchased. Having trained horses for 14 years, enabled me to learn all aspects of the game, from the foot to the tail, to the withers, to the croup. So I think it gives me an advantage having done that. The difference between a 2-year-old and training sale, as most know, I think you have a little bit of an advantage over buying yearlings. Yearlings is a crystal ball, and then if you even take the clock back to when they're a weanling, you downright have to get lucky, and you have to have a tremendous vision, which I think even with a 2-year-old, you have to have forgiveness in a sense that not all of these 2-year-olds that go into these sales, they're not designed for this. Now, those that handle them, their expectation is that they're going to perform well, but I think the key is that when they go into this process, much like you'd see with an NFL combine, is they have to pass the litmus test. I mean, you're looking at the physicals. I would tend to look at the physicals as much with the 2-year-olds I do a yearling, but I'm a bit more forgiving because they've come to that next level. Essentially, they've graduated from, say, middle school and now kind of working their way into, say, their freshman year of high school. For me, it's an evolving process, and I wouldn't think of doing anything else than being in this game. Not as fun not being a trainer, but at the same time being a Bloodstock guy and having a hands-on approach for me is you wouldn't want to trade it for the world.